And on to debate number 2. With Manish Sisodia and Sanjay Singh in jail, the probe in the Delhi liquor scam deepens, and ED has summoned Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal tomorrow. But just a day before the ED summons, Kejriwal seemed to be very calm and composed. He's even addressed a press conference on MCD this morning and did not utter a word about vendetta politics ahead of the summons by the Enforcement Directorate. Listen in.
कल नगर निगम की सदन की मीटिंग हुई थी और उसमें प्रस्ताव पारित करके ये मंजूरी दे दी गई है कि नगर निगम के लगभग 5000 सफाई कर्मचारियों को पक्का किया जाएगा। वो सफाई कर्मचारी जो कच्चे थे उनको पक्का किया जाएगा।
Above, other leaders of his party are targeting the central government, alleging that the AAP chief would be arrested when he appears before ED after the summons. Even the AAP expressing that the same template of the misuse of central agencies will be followed in other states ahead of the upcoming 2024 Lok Sabha polls. Is this mere fear-mongering, or is this something that's well-founded?
गिरफ्तारी क्यों की जा रही है? ये इस बात को दिखा रहा है कि कहीं न कहीं जो लोकसभा चुनाव है उसमें भारतीय जनता पार्टी केंद्र सरकार को काफी सारा हाथ पैर चलाने के बाद भी चुनाव में हारने का डर लग रहा है। अब उनके नेताओं को गिरफ्तार करो। ये जो सिलसिला अरविंद केजरीवाल से शुरू करने का इन्होंने पहल की है वो यही नहीं रुकने वाला है। वो करते करते पूरे देश के अंदर जो भी अपोजिशन है उन सबको गिरफ्तार करना चाहते हैं।
देखिए, अब तो कोई पर्दा भी नहीं रहा। अब तो ये बहुत साफ साफ देखा जा सकता है कि जो लोग भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सत्ता में रोड़ा बन सकते हैं उनको, उनके करीबी नेताओं को किसी ना किसी तरीके से जेल में डालने की कवायद चल रही है।
देखिए, मैंने आज आपको मुख्य तौर पर राज्य दर राज्य बताया है कि कौन से राज्य में कितनी सीटें हैं और उस राज्य के कौन से नेता को जेल में डालने की तैयारियां चल रही, जिसमें मैंने शुरुआत में ही सोनिया गांधी जी, राहुल गांधी जी का नाम लिया। राजस्थान में चुनाव चल रहा है। राजस्थान के मुख्यमंत्री आदरणीय अशोक गहलोत साहब के सुपुत्र वैभव गहलोत को इन्फोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट ने एक कोई बहुत ही पुराने बेबुनियाद से मामले में समन किया है। तो जिस प्रकार से एजेंसियों का इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है, ये चिन्हित कर जो मुख्य नेता हैं, जो वोट बटोर सकते, उन्हें पकड़ के जेल में डालो।
The allegations by AAP come even as various courts have denied bail to Manish Sisodia, including the Supreme Court. While denying bail to Sisodia, the court has categorically stated, and I quote, "However, there is one clear ground or charge in the complaint filed against the PMLA which is free from perceptible legal challenge, and the facts as alleged are likely to be supported by material and evidence." This discussion is equally relevant for the charge sheet filed by the CBI under the POC Act and IPC. We would like to recapitulate the facts as alleged, which is stated establish an offence under Section 3 of the PMLA and the POC Act. Now, the BJP has dismissed the charges of Aam Aadmi Party and maintained that ED is a central agency and has carried out the probe independently. BJP has asserted that the corrupt will not be spared, no matter whoever it is.
गड़बड़ करेंगे, बेईमानी करेंगे तो क्या उनको ईडी नहीं बुलाएगा तो और क्या बुलाएगा? भैया, कानून अपने हिसाब से काम करती है, चाहे ईडी हो या सीबीआई हो, स्वतंत्र इकाई है। जो भ्रष्टाचार अत्याचार होगा तो स्वाभाविक है कि वहाँ कानून का हाथ पहुँचेगा ही। कानून के हाथ पहुँचने का यह सब संस्थाएं माध्यम है। तो जो लोग भ्रष्टाचार में लिप्त होंगे, घोटाला में लिप्त होंगे, तो कानून क्या उनकी रक्षा करेगी या वहाँ तक पहुँचकर कानून के हिसाब से उस पर कार्रवाई करेगी?
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us on the show is Kailash Adhikari, MD of Governance Now. Sanjeev Kaushik is political analyst joining us. Ravi Srivastava, political analyst, also joins us. Tehseen Poonawalla and Tuhin Sinha continue to be with us. Let me start with you first, Ravi Srivastava. The charges against Arvind Kejriwal are perhaps not entirely new. They have been mentioned in approval statement, they have been mentioned in various other documents that have been put forth, remand notes, etc. And thereby the question of whether he arranged meetings, was aware of what was happening, being the Chief Minister of the state, when the other accused include senior leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party. Is that not a pertinent question? Ravi.
Madhav, I hope you recall that when Manish Sisodia was arrested, and even for that matter, last year itself, Arvind had said that it will start with Satyendra Jain, then Manish Sisodia, and then finally it will reach to me. So he has well predicted. It is nothing new. This is nothing unexpected. This is nothing unprecedented. The fact is the government is absolutely scared before 2024 and they want to put all those people who question the government, they are to put behind the bars. It is just now Raghav Chadda, I think, did a PC and told about in prospective states in Rajasthan, Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi and Ashok Gehlot's son, or Abhishek Banerjee, you name the place. Take out the cases. And the modus operandi is also very common. They will call, they will say, you organized this meeting. You say, no, I did not organize this meeting. I don't know this person. Then they will say, no, he's not cooperating. Put him behind the bars. So let it go on. I am saying if BJP arrests tomorrow Arvind Kejriwal, it will be a harakiri for them. I am repeating my words. It will be a harakiri for them, and all 7 seats of Lok Sabha will be lost by the BJP to Aam Aadmi Party. Arvind Kejriwal is loved in Delhi. I can tell you for his work, whether it is electricity, whether it is water, health, or mohalla clinic.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that because the allegations of his work are also that he apparently had a role to play. That's at least in any event the allegation coming in from the agencies. But I'm going to allow Tuhin Sinha a chance to rebut that. Tuhin Sinha, it will be a political boomerang for the BJP if at all there is an arrest that takes place of Arvind Kejriwal, says Ravi Srivastava. Your response to that?
Madhav, we don't factor in the political consequences or gains when the ED takes decisions based on the findings that it conducts. Point is, we have always maintained that Arvind Kejriwal is the kingpin of the Liquorgate. In fact, if you look at the Supreme Court's observations yesterday, the Supreme Court has corroborated what the previous PMLA court had said, which is that Manish Sisodia is the architect of the scam. Now, for the first time, there is reasonable possibility that ED might invoke provision section clause 70 of the PMLA Act to make the Aam Aadmi Party an accused. If it happens, it will be the first time in history that a party will be made accused. Now, who is the founder of the party? Who is the Chief Minister of Delhi? Obviously, it's Arvind Kejriwal. But look at the way he carried out the scam. The main scam, the main mystery lies in his cabinet formation. 90% of the portfolios was given to 2 people, both of whom were the frontmen for him, and he was quietly doing it from behind. He was passing on the instructions because there is clear evidence that he was present in many of the meetings where quid pro quo details were discussed, and he was privy to intricate details. So if he gets arrested, that clearly depends on what the ED finds and what the ED thinks. We are not astrologers to predict that.
Madhav, can I?
All right. No, but the question is once again, before I come across you, Ravi, Tuhin, how do you know for a fact that Aam Aadmi Party is going to be made a party to the case? Because the matter has come up before the courts, and the courts, it has been denied by the lawyers of the government.
I said there is reasonable, Madhav, I said there is reasonable possibility, because this was a query which the Supreme Court had posed. And I mentioned there is reasonable possibility. If that happens, then imagine the kind of, the culpability of the chief of the party.
Okay. It won't look good for the Aam Aadmi Party if it is made an accused. Ravi, once again, before I come back to you, Ravi, let me get into other panelists because time is short. Tehseen Purawala, the question is this. The question is that, obviously opposition parties have time and again raised this question that there is, some kind of misuse of central agencies. But when it comes to the role of Mr. Kejriwal, it's not coming out for the first time. In Mr. Raghav Maguntla Reddy's deposition, it is mentioned. In his remand note, it is mentioned. And I believe in other locations also, the role of Mr. Kejriwal has been mentioned as somebody who was part of meetings and also perhaps knew about the role of the South Group. Are these not serious charges?
No, they're not. And the harassment will continue by Enforcement Directorate. Perhaps if the BJP loses these 3 state elections, the agencies might take a spine and stand up to the union government. Otherwise, around January, I don't think tomorrow, they will go after and they will hunt Mr. Kejriwal. The evidence so far against Mr. Kejriwal and Mr. Sanjay Singh is as much as the Honorable Prime Minister's press conferences, that is 0. Let me just ask 2 fundamental questions. Is by the logic of the BJP, Mr. Kejriwal is responsible for, as per them, sitting in a meeting or having a meeting in his house. Why is the LG not responsible for signing the files in the end? But more importantly, I think as citizens of India, we should be deeply, deeply worried and concerned about the PMLA cases. In PMLA cases, we know it's almost impossible to get bail, which is why Manish Sisodia ji is not been getting bail. The court has to be convinced you're innocent. It goes under the presumption you're guilty, which is turning the legal jurisprudence around that you're innocent until proven guilty. Courts believe you're guilty until proven innocent.
Let me get into some specifics, Tehseen. Let me get into specifics. You're saying that specifically, why is the LG not being called in? I'm reading out some specifics from the different prosecution complaints, etc., that have been filed. Let me read them out one by one. The ED complaint has mentioned the statement of C. Arvind, secretary to Manish Sisodia, who purportedly spoke about a meeting in mid-March 2021 in the residence of Arvind Kejriwal when the draft GM report of the policy was given to him. That is point number one. Point number two, the ED in its prosecution complaint has also said that Vijay Nair was given full access to Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's office and is understood to have discussed policy formulation matters in Delhi CM and the Chief Minister's office. He told that he discussed excise matters with Delhi Chief Minister, but as he was staying in the house next to the CM's office and was working with the Delhi CM due to his closeness on account of social media ads and management, it may be understood that he was discussing policy formulations with the Delhi CM and the CM's office. And also, of course, there is a statement being made that Vijay Nair arranged meeting of Sameer Mahindra with Kejriwal through video call, where the Delhi CM referred to Vijay as his boy. Now, I can go on. There are several other similar charges that have been mentioned time and again. So it's not like the role of Mr. Kejriwal has not been mentioned anywhere before. That's all I'm saying.
Let me just bust this with two things. I won't get into too many technical details. Two things. This is the same government of India that said in Kejriwalji's house, a chief secretary was slapped. Nothing came out. Nothing. Slapped. Make no mistake, Madhav. Nothing came out of it. This is the same government of India, same ED when I was with you, said, Arey, Karti Chidambaram has a swimming pool in Spain, a tennis court in Mumbai. What came out? You saw it? Same ED that said 90 crores was recovered from DK Shivkumar's house. 9 rupees was not recovered. ED and his government keeps me. They even came up in the Honorable Prime Minister's case in Bhima Koregaon that letters have been found to say that the Honorable Prime Minister would be attacked. They've withdrawn those charges in court. Therefore, I'm saying the process is the punishment. Nothing's going to come out. ED's conviction rate is 0.5%. Even with Manish Sisodia, I dislike the AAP. I feel terrible he continues to be in jail, and courts are not upholding liberty, but Supreme Court can do nothing because the twin conditions of PMLA are...
Kailash Adhikari. I want Kailash Adhikari to respond to that. None of these charges are proved, says Tehseen.
Madhav, that's to me? Sorry,
yes, Kailash, that's a question.
I'm having a cracking voice. Yeah, sure.
I don't know if you heard Tehseen, but he says that all of these notes, all of these documents that have been submitted by different agencies, none of it adds up according to him. Your response?
No, Madhav. See, the Honorable Supreme Court of India today, the Temple of Judiciary, has very clearly stated that, the money trail of 338 crores is tentatively established. And that is why that is the biggest grounds for denying bail to Manish Sisodia. And he's been in ED custody since, I think, the 9th of March. Now, AAP can cry and cry foul all over the place, call it political vendetta, call it the agencies are misused, whatever it is. But what is on pen and paper, what is in black and white, that is in black and white. They cannot deny that, firstly. And whether it's the CBI, whether it's the ED, they are competent agencies, they are run by competent people, they have the independent agencies, and whenever they find prima facie evidence, if there's a predicate offense, naturally they will come in. And they have established it before the Supreme Court of India, and that is why the bail is denied. So now, how much ever AAP can cry foul over political vendetta, but what is on paper, that is on paper.
Kailash, I can also ask you, but the same judgment which you say, in which the bail was denied, also mentions that the Goa poll funding charge has not been proved. It further goes on to say that the amount from the liquor lobby did it reach Sisodia is a matter of debate. So while it has upheld certain aspects of this entire case to ensure that Mr. Sisodia does not get bail, it's also said that several of the claims made by the agency are not actually factually borne out. So AAP does have some amount of leeway there, saying that perhaps some of these charges are not entirely accurate. Kailash.
So naturally, the court has said that within 6 to 8 months, and the agency has said in court that we need 6 to 8 months to close the investigation. And the Honorable Court has said that after and it has told the agencies that within 6 to 8 months, the investigation must be completed. And Mr. Manish Sisodia has a fundamental right to appeal for the bail once the investigation is complete. But now the grounds are very strong to deny bail.
It's trial to be completed, trial. It's not investigation.
Yes. It's trial. Let's not. Okay, yeah, that's an important point. It's a good correction, Mr. Ravi Srivastava. I just want to bring in Sanjeev Kaushik, who hasn't yet spoken on this debate. Sanjeev Kaushik, if you look at this entire statement that has come in, जो इसमें कहा जा रहा है, he says that excess profit of 338 crores in 10 months that in fact was referred to by Kailash Adhikari in the now scrapped excise policy in operation was collected. Also goes on to say that that in para 21 that the one charge is free from perceptible legal challenge. Evidence tentatively supports PMLA allegations. कहीं ना कहीं ये कट्टर ईमानदार वाली जो क्लेम है, it's a huge setback for that. संजीव कौशिक.
देखिए माधव, हमें कहने में कोई गुरेज नहीं है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने अपनी रणनीति में बहुत बड़ी सफलता पाई है, लेकिन साथ साथ हम ये भी कहना चाहेंगे कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी की रणनीति जिस तरह की है और जो चाहती है वो हिंदुस्तान में एक दलीय प्रणाली को विकसित करना चाहती है। केवल आम आदमी पार्टी इससे पीड़ित नहीं है। मैं भी रिकॉर्ड देख रहा था तो मैंने देखा कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी की जो रणनीति है 2007 में तत्कालीन राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष उनके राजनाथ सिंह हुआ करते थे, उस समय चीन में भेजा गया एक प्रतिनिधिमंडल भेजा गया था जो वहां के एक दलीय प्रणाली को सीखने के लिए भेजा गया था। 8 में आने के बाद में उस बात की पुष्टि की गई और यहाँ पे भी सीसीपी के साथ उन्होंने चर्चा की। उसके बाद में आगे देखते हैं कि 2009 में आरएसएस को, चूंकि राजनीतिक पार्टी वो नहीं है, उसके बावजूद भी आरएसएस को निमंत्रण मिलता है, वो यहाँ से एक प्रतिनिधिमंडल को भेजते हैं चीन में और उसके साथ साथ भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोग भी जाते हैं। ये सारी बातें मैं इसलिए कह रहा हूँ चूंकि एक दलीय प्रणाली विकसित करने की कवायद जो है वो सीखने ये लोग जा रहे थे। फिर आगे आते हैं 2011 की बात करते हैं। 2011 में तत्कालीन बीजेपी के अध्यक्ष नितिन गडकरी, उनके साथ साथ विदेशी दौरे पर एक प्रतिनिधिमंडल जाता है केवल इसी बात को सीखने के लिए। और 2014 में तो हद हो जाती है। 2014 में तो
क्या लेने देना है
अमित शाह जी विधायकों का और सांसदों का एक
दिल्ली एक्साइज पॉलिसी से क्या लेना देना है?
मैं उसी पे आ रहा हूं तो ये सबको भेज मैं उसी पे आ रहा हूं। तमाम भारतीय जनता पार्टी को छोड़ करके जब यदि ईडी की बात कर ले हम, तो ईडी में अभी तक ईडी ने जितने राजनेताओं के ऊपर कार्रवाई की है उसमें तकरीबन 225 में 90% से ज्यादा विपक्षी पार्टियों के राजनेता है। तो ऐसा कैसे हो जाता है कि सारे भारतीय जनता पार्टी से जो बाहर है वो करप्ट हो जाते हैं और भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोग साफ सुथरे हो जाते हैं? ये इस तरह से एक कवायद है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अलावा हिंदुस्तान में कोई दूसरी पार्टी विकसित न हो।
This is selective targeting of opposition parties. How is it possible that you've not cracked down on anyone in your own party? We all know that our political system and how it is. Is it possible that only BJP leaders are not corrupt? Is the question that is being asked over here.
No, Madhav, since the opposition loves to mire itself in victimhood and is preparing a list of who will be arrested when from here, let me tell you, tomorrow, there are certain cases which are so open and shut that if Hemant Soren gets arrested in the mining scam, will it surprise you? It is that open and shut, but the ED takes its own time, it follows its own processes. We don't determine the timing. Tomorrow if Lalu's family, one of his family members gets arrested in the land for job scam, will it surprise you? The case is that open and shut, but the ED follows its own processes, it follows its own, style of working. We don't interfere with it. Now, I'm giving a challenge to the opposition parties. Barely 6 months ago, you were making all kinds of wild charges about, 40% Sarkar in Karnataka. It's been 6 months now. Why can't you utilize the Anti-Corruption Bureau in the state to file at least one case, to pursue at least one of the charges that you were making against us?
Not so long ago when the UPA was in power, the Supreme Court called the CBI cage parrot.
Credence.
How do we know it's not a cage parrot even today? Because the allegations only get that much more shriller.
Sorry?
When the UPA was in power, the Supreme Court, perhaps rightly, perhaps wrongly, called the CBI a caged parrot. How do we know it's not a caged parrot today? Whether it's the CBI, whether it's the ED, whether it's the IT, because all of these agencies, the opposition says, are being used as tools for political ends of the ruling dispensation.
No, like I mentioned, there are some cases, Madhav, which are so open and shut that it should not even surprise you if in due course of time those leaders are similarly arrested. It should not even surprise you. But fact is,
but why no BJP leaders is still a mystery.
Made no such observation.
But why no BJP leaders is still a mystery. We'll have to leave it there. Completely out of time, Tuhin. I'll have to thank you as well as Kailash Adhikari, Tehseen Poonawala, Sanjeev Kaushik and Ravi Srivastava for joining us. All eyes on whether Arvind Kejriwal will appear before the ED tomorrow, skip summons, perhaps seek some more time. He's, of course, within his rights to do so. And, of course, what this really means in coming days in terms of this entire Arvind Kejriwal and the ED appearance is concerned. What will be the political ramifications of this entire development? Thanks so much for joining us this evening.